Hi everyone. There is a little bit of a story to this particular diorama that I'll go through during the video. I started with toying with the idea of making a diorama of James Bond because I had a Aston Martin DB5 Airfix kit in my stash. I then decided to shell out some hard-earned cash on an Andrea model of Sean Connery. Andrea kits are fantastic, but they're really expensive to import into Australia. This particular kit cost me 90 Australian dollars. I found a figure on the internet that I could 3D print, and I obviously made her to scale. As you can see, she was quite tiny in comparison to Sean Connery, only up to the bottom of his chin. And when I did actually print it out, it looked unusual, but I just stuck with it. When I made this diorama, I made all the pieces concurrently. Like I started on the car, the James Bond figure, and the Lana Wood figure. So the photos that you'll see are a little bit out of order, but I'm just trying to do each section. Like I mentioned, the Andrea kit is a fabulous likeness of Sean Connery, and I'd really like to have all of the Andrea kits out there, and they're just fabulous. I always start my figures by painting the face. I do the face in a darker shade, and then I dry brush a lighter shade. I don't do any eyeballs in 30-second scale. I think that just looks very toy-like. Since the figure had a white dinner jacket, obviously from Diamonds Are Forever, I decided also to add a female figure representing Lana Wood also. The dinner jacket I initially painted in cream colour, and then I dry brushed a white highlight over it. The Lana Wood figure that I printed out, I had to trim her hair initially, and also I painted her with a tan base coat for flesh, but then dry brushed a light pale flesh colour onto her. The dress was purple, and I also added the jewellery that is on her neck. The base I bought at a hardware store called Bunnings in Australia. I initially wanted to apply a cobblestone effect, and so what I did was I got some clay and I scribed in some stones. The problem was that when it dried, it was very thin, and because it had the scribe marks, when I lifted it, it all broke apart. So I then just decided to use a leather texture paper, which simulated a road surface quite nicely. Obviously, there was a lot of handy reference as to the actual James Bond car around. The Aston Martin is a very sleek looking car, but the details on the old Airfix kit was very poor. Like I mentioned, I had a Aston Martin Airfix kit in my stash, and the construction was quite difficult because the fit was not very good. I actually wrecked my first kit because I had to use some super glue near the windows, and of course what happened is that they frosted out, so I basically wrecked the first kit. So I did start again, and the wheels were a big bugbear because they were hollow on the inside. So I couldn't print out wheels from the internet. So I just filled them up with filler, and you can't really see them. However, the wheel spokes also were not hollow, and all I did was I painted the spokes silver, and I added some Tamiya panel line accent just to darken the background, and it's pretty effective. With the first kit, I initially painted it light grey, that sort of matched the photos, but I found out the car was actually a silver grey model, so I spray painted the second model with bare metal silver from Tamiya. Also, I found out that the seats were too dark, so in the second kit I painted the seats light grey. I toyed with the idea of making some rear vision mirrors to put on the side bonnet. However, they turned out to be the wrong shape and a little bit too large, so I just scrapped it. The only thing that I was able to salvage from the first kit was the dashboard. I did a good job first time around, so I thought I'd reuse that part. With the first kit, it was very difficult to attach both halves of the car together. What I did wrong was I applied glue to both halves and then attached it, and that caused a huge mess. This time around on the second kit, what I did was I attached the two halves together, and I wiggled around, and wherever I could I added just a touch of super glue to any joins that I could find and that were out of sight. The license plate from the movie, what I did was I got some pictures from the internet and I printed them out to scale. I attached them to cardboard and I painted them and attached them to the car. The car itself actually looks quite presentable, and I'm actually quite happy with the overall way that the model turned out. It's a very simple looking diorama, but I think it's nice. And yes, I did use alphabet soup to make the letters, and it just complements the other two cars in the series that I made. I hope you enjoy the video. Comment below.